There's lots of things you need to think about when looking to start your Amazon FBA business, and one of these is your business structure. And with this you have two choices, either a limited company or being self-employed. And which one you do decide to pick can make a big difference to your business. So in today's video we're going to be talking about both limited companies and sole traders when it comes to Amazon FBA, what it means, what may be best for you, and how to set up both. Now before we do get into the video, let me introduce who we are. We are Profitl. We're an Amazon FBA software and we're all about helping people on their Amazon FBA journey. If you did take any value from this video, please do hit that subscribe button, and as always let us know in the comments if there are any other videos you'd like us to make about Amazon FBA. But that's enough about us, let's get into the video. So the decision whether to set up a limited company or to be a sole trader really does depend on your circumstances, such as your level of risk tolerance, your tax situation, and the size of your business. Now if you choose to set up a limited company, you'll need to register with Companies House and you'll need to appoint shareholders and directors. And as well as this, you'll need to file annual accounts and tax returns. Now as a sole trader, you'll just need to register with HMRC, but of course you'll also need to file tax returns, but these will be called self-assessment ones. Now let's talk about the pros and cons of both self-employed versus limited companies. So first up is limited companies, and this just means that your business will have a separate legal identity from yourself as a person, and this can have some benefit. So one of these is what we call limited liability, and this means if your business was to face any legal issues, you aren't personally affected because your business and yourself as a person are classed as two totally different things. Now of course hopefully you're not going to have any legal issues when running your Amazon FBA business, but it is something to consider and it can just give you that added peace of mind. Now the next thing is your professional image. Having a limited company looks a lot more professional than if you're a sole trader, and this can be beneficial especially if you're doing wholesale, because wholesalers don't always like to sell to sole traders. They want to know that they're selling to a proper business. So it can make it a bit easier if you're a limited company to find great wholesalers who will actually let you buy products from them. And the third big pro is the tax benefit. So having a limited company is a lot more tax efficient than if you are a sole trader. You can pay yourself using dividends, which has a much lower tax rate than PAYE, can save you money, which means more money in your pocket if you are using a limited company. So that's some of the positives. Now let's talk about some of the negatives of using a limited company for your Amazon FBA business. So the first one is there is more paperwork and more filing and just generally more admin if you have a limited company. And because of this, it leads on to my next one, which are higher costs. Realistically, as a limited company, you're going to have an accountant to file your end of year accounts, and if you're VAT registered as well, that's something else to consider. This does cost more money than if you were going to be self-employed, where it is a lot more simple. Now let's move on to the pros and cons of being self-employed. So this just means you'll just be working for yourself. You don't have a registered company, you are your business. So the first big pro is the much simpler process to get started. You don't need to register a company, you can more or less just start trading straight away. And because of this, it means your costs are also going to be a lot lower. So of course, I mentioned the added costs with a limited company. You're not going to have these as a self-employed trader. Now let's talk about some of the negatives, and one of these is there is no limited liability. So as you are your business, if you do run into any issues, you are personally liable. So technically any creditors or anyone you owe money to could come after personal assets, whether that's a car, whether that's your property. Creditors can legally come after these, where it's much more difficult if you have a limited company. Now, of course, if you're sensible, this shouldn't be a worry for most people, and generally most new sellers do start up as a sole trader, and it shouldn't be anything to be concerned about as long as you are diligent and you don't do anything stupid in your business. But a lot of people do get nervous about being self-employed with their business because of this reason. And on to the next one is about your company image. So as I mentioned, with a limited company, it makes you look more professional. If you're self-employed, it makes you look less professional. So it is going to be harder to buy products from wholesalers. So that's another important thing to bear in mind. Now up next, we're going to be actually talking about how you can register both a limited company and as a sole trader. But before we do get into that, we did just want to let you know about an exclusive Profitl discount code for our YouTube viewers. If you don't know what Profitl is, we're an Amazon FBA software. So we have a deal analyzer, which includes a Chrome extension, a mobile app, and a wholesale scanner. and a deal finder service, and just the most amazing Discord community. So we'll make a discount code pop up just here. There's 2 discount codes there. It will save you either 5% on yearly plans, and yearly plans already have over 50% off, or 20% on monthly plans, and you'll also find it down below in the description. Now, setting up a limited company isn't too difficult, but it is more work than if you're going self-employed. So there's 2 potential ways you can do this. You can either do this on the government's website, so on this page just here, register your company. It's going to cost you £12 to do this, and it's really easy. You just follow the steps. You need to appoint directors and shareholders, and you can register your limited company. Now, there is another way you can do that, and that's using something called a formation company. And there's loads of these about. We won't recommend one, but if you just Google formation company, there's absolutely tons of these, and this may be a benefit for you if you want to hide your personal details. So you may not be aware, when you register a company, all of the details are public on Companies House, so people can see your address, your shareholders, your directors, anyone can view that information. Now, with a formation company, you can hide your address. You can use the address from the formation company. Often these are in London, which again makes you look more professional as well. Now, this is going to cost you more money to do it because of this, but it may be an option if you do want to keep your details a little bit more private. Now, registering for self-employed is really easy, and it's not going to cost you any money. All you have to do is go into this page, check how to register for self-assessment. You follow the steps through here, and the bit of information you need is something called a UTR number. This means a unique taxpayer reference number. This is what you'll need to set up your Amazon seller account. Now, it really doesn't take long, and you should get your UTR in the post within a couple of weeks, but it is usually quicker than that. So now you know how to register both a limited company and as self-employed. Your next step is registering with HMRC. Now, regardless of whether you decide to be a sole trader or a limited company, you do need to register with HMRC for paying your tax. And this is really easy to do. You just do this again on the government's website. You just do this on HMRC's website. So now you've decided your company's set up, you're registered for HMRC, you'll now more often than not want to register a business bank account, and would recommend to do this just to keep your personal account and your business totally separate, which just makes things so much easier for your accounting and just keeping track of how much money you've got going in and going out. There's tons of bank accounts here you could potentially pick from. We're not going to recommend one today. Do a quick Google, put some research into finding out what's going to be the best bank account for your Amazon FBA business. Now, next up, we're going to talk about VAT, and this means value added tax. If you're from the UK, hopefully you're familiar with this. Now, this isn't something you actually need to pay until you do £85,000 in revenue in a calendar year. Now, realistically, hitting £85,000 in revenue isn't that difficult with Amazon FBA. So it is something you need to be aware of, and of course it is going to affect your profitability, because once you register for VAT, you need to pay 20% VAT on everything you're selling. But of course, don't forget you can claim 20% VAT on your purchases as well. This really isn't something you can get around unless you decide to sell under £85,000 a year. And at this point, you're definitely going to want an accountant to be doing this for you. So once you've completed all the steps I've mentioned, you're ready to register your Amazon seller account. Now, I won't actually talk about setting up an Amazon account today, just because I appreciate this video is getting quite long. If you were interested in how you actually set up your Amazon account, we'll link a video just up here. It will take you through all the steps of signing up your account, what details should you be entering, and dealing with Amazon's verification call. So when you do set up an account, you will actually need to speak to Amazon, but it's really not anything to be scared of. Now, once you've set up your Amazon account, you're good to go. You're ready to start selling. So it's very, very exciting times ahead. Now, typically most people start with online and retail arbitrage when it comes to Amazon FBA, just because of the low cost of entry. You don't need to spend thousands of pounds on buying products. You can start with 10 to 15 units at a time and just learn the process. Amazon FBA can be complex, it can be hard, and that's why it's important not to go too crazy when first starting out. We don't recommend spending thousands of pounds or dollars in stock. Just take it slow, learn the ropes, and it's going to give you a much higher chance of success. So there you have it. That's all about being self-employed or registering a company for your Amazon FBA business. Now, which one should you pick? I'm not going to tell you that. That really does depend on your personal situation, as I mentioned before. Now, I will tell you what most people do, and that is being self-employed when they start, just because it's easier, as I mentioned, and you can switch over to a limited company at a later date. So we hope you found that video helpful. If you did take any value, please do subscribe to our channel. We post Amazon FBA videos for free every single Thursday. But that is all for now. We thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.